Hi everybody, welcome to the Wednesday edition of Source 16 News. I'm Eddie Owen. Thanks for joining us. Sometimes the weather is the news. That's today. The National Weather Service in Paducah has issued a winter weather advisory. For details about the advisory and what we can expect in the Source 16 viewing area, here's meteorologist David Bryant. David?
Well, Eddie, that winter weather advisory issued for much of the region, but specifically here in western Kentucky, runs from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning through 6 p.m., so about a 12-hour window, and expecting that snowfall to begin during the morning hours off to our north and west, and then gradually work its way across western Kentucky as we go through the day, picking up during the afternoon hours. That's when it looks like it'll be its most intense. And the estimations right now between 2 and 4 inches of snowfall accumulating before it's all said and done by tomorrow night. And it looks like closer to 2 as you get closer to the Kentucky-Tennessee border, and then higher amounts. Notice as you get north of the Ohio River, 3 to 5 inches of snow off to the north and east, 4 to 6 for the Louisville area, where they actually have a winter storm warning in effect as we go through the day tomorrow. Then very cold air moving in, so any snow that does fall will be with us as temperatures drop into the teens by early Friday morning. Eddie?
Thanks, David. In anticipation of wintry weather across the viewing area, Kentucky Transportation Cabinet crews are pre-treating area highways. Motorists should be alert for slow-moving trucks and escort vehicles as crews go about pre-treating state-maintained highways in the Source 16 viewing area. And don't forget, for your first look at any possible school closings and cancellations, tune in to Wake Up Western Kentucky tomorrow morning at 6. A home in northern Christian County was destroyed by fire early this morning. 10 firefighters from the Mannington and Crofton Volunteer Fire Departments responded to the home at 305 Empire Road, Crofton, around 1:30. Mannington Fire Chief Lewis Brooks told Source 16 when firefighters arrived at the home owned by Ryan Hicks, it was fully engulfed and all of the occupants were outside of the house. He says that they attacked the fire from the outside, but the home was already too far gone. However, firefighters did save 2 buildings beside the home that contained rabbits and puppies. He said that a natural gas meter at the home had to be turned off, which affected other residents in the area, but he noted the natural gas was restored to the homes today. According to Brooks, Ryan Hicks' wife stated that she had fixed some soup on the stove and turned it off to go take a bath, but when she opened the bathroom door, she saw fire. At this time, he believes the fire was caused due to an electrical problem. Chief Brooks said firefighters cleared the scene around 5 o'clock this morning. A Murray native and Hopkinsville resident has filed to run for state treasurer. According to the Secretary of State's website, Democrat Steve Hamrick filed Tuesday to run for the seat. Hamrick previously worked in economic development for former Governor John Y. Brown and in a similar role in Christian County. He also owns Hamrick Media Resources, which does college textbooks and media consulting. Hamrick was the Republican nominee for the 1st Congressional District in 1992, a race that he lost to Democrat Tom Barlow. In 1994, he lost the Republican primary to current 1st District Congressman Ed Whitfield. Meanwhile, the current state treasurer, Democrat Todd Hollenbach of Prospect, filed today seeking a second term, citing his fiscal record and innovative, cost-effective programs. During the Hollenbach administration, the following programs have been initiated: Treasurer Finders, Financial Literacy, Fiscal Literacy Initiative, Job Fairs, and the Treasurer to Treasurer program. To date, Casey Crosby of Lexington is the only Republican to file to run in the state treasurer's race. A rear-end collision on West 7th Street yesterday afternoon sent 4 Hopkinsville residents to the hospital. According to Hopkinsville police, 31-year-old Melissa Campbell of Hopkinsville was stopped on West 7th Street waiting to turn left when she was rear-ended by a vehicle driven by 18-year-old Jacqueline Wyatt of Hopkinsville. Wyatt stated to police that Campbell's car did not have brake lights and she did not notice that she was stopped. A passenger in Wyatt's vehicle told police that Campbell was looking at a fire truck that was in the parking lot of Pennyrile Fire Safety when the accident occurred. Wyatt and her 3 passengers, 19-year-old Chelsea Arwin, 20-year-old Joshua Austin, and 32-year-old Kenneth Lancaster Jr., all of Hopkinsville, were transported by ambulance to Jenny Stewart Medical Center. 3 people were injured in 2 separate wrecks in Marshall County yesterday. Around 12:45 Tuesday afternoon, the Marshall County Sheriff's Department responded to a head-on collision on US 68 where 25-year-old Eric Ziegler of Benton locked up his brakes to avoid a vehicle that was turning and crossed the center line, colliding head-on into a vehicle driven by 30-year-old Paul Briggs, Jr. of Benton. A witness told police that Ziegler had passed him at a high rate of speed. Ziegler and Briggs were transported by ambulance to Marshall County Hospital. Police also cited Ziegler to court due to the severity of his injuries for operating a motor vehicle under the influence. In the second wreck, around 1:30, deputies responded to Simpsonia Highway where 49-year-old Kathy Holmes of Boaz crashed into the driver's side of a vehicle that was driven and being turned by 67-year-old Janice Piggott of Simpsonia. The impact caused Holmes' vehicle to run off the road into a ditch and crash into a fence. Holmes was transported by ambulance to Marshall County Hospital for treatment of injuries. An Ohio County man is in jail facing weapons and drug charges. 45-year-old Kerry McDaniel of Fordsville is charged with trafficking in a controlled substance, methamphetamine, and possession of drug precursor and possession of a gun and firearm by a convicted felon. Kentucky State Police, the Ohio County Sheriff's Department, and Owensboro Police Department Street Crimes Unit received information that McDaniel was involved in criminal activity at his residence on State Route 919. Now, during a search of the residence, police found 9 long guns, 3 pistols, and 1 gram of meth. Police also found pseudoephedrine and other drug-related chemicals and equipment. McDaniel is lodged in the Ohio County Detention Center on a $15,000 cash bond. Mayfield police are investigating a theft that occurred at a local church. Joe Rivas reported to police Tuesday that someone had entered the Cristo Church at the corner of South 10th and Hale Streets and taken a guitar and keyboard valued at about $600. According to Rivas, the thief entered through the back door of the church. Well, in case you missed the 10 o'clock and this morning's news, a crowd of about 50 Hopkinsville residents met to start planning for a dog park last night. The Christian County Humane Society donated $6,000 toward the construction of the park during the meeting. Parks and Recreation Superintendent Gary McIntyre spoke about construction for a bark park becoming a reality.
I think with what we're seeing here tonight and knowing some of the people in this room, with the right information and contacting the right people, this could become a reality in probably short order.
The Humane Society also invited Laura Alexander, who helped bring a dog park in Murray, to speak at last night's meeting and share her experiences. Alexander gave fundraising tips, how to get help from the community, and how to go about building a park in Hopkinsville. McIntyre said they already have an area for the park in mind, but wouldn't disclose the place because they haven't committed to it yet. Meanwhile, the Christian County Humane Society's next meeting will be held on February 15th at 6 p.m. at the Thomas Street Recreation Center. During last night's meeting, Hopkinsville Mayor Dan Kemp and City Council members recognized Public Works Director and Engineer Bob Cope for his years of service. After serving nearly 4 years, Cope will be retiring Monday, January 31st. Mayor Kemp spoke highly of Cope and wished him the best.
As our Public Works Director for the last 4 years, he managed the opening of the water park. He managed the merger of the Park and Recreation Commission into the city. He got our sidewalk program rolling. He managed the renovation of North Drive Park that's now DeBow Park.
Another business, Chief Financial Officer Robert Martin told council members that 1,200 letters will be mailed to property owners who have not paid their property taxes and that $220,000 still needs to be collected. City Council unanimously approved to authorize a Recreational Trails Program grant application as well as a Land and Water Conservation Fund grant application.
Well, this application applies to our property on both sides of Pardue Lane, where we've developed 2 stormwater detention facilities. And this land is going to be usable as a passive park.
In addition, City Council approved a Kentucky Waste Tire grant.
That's a crumb rubber grant where we grind up used tires and then use them in playground facilities. And if we can be successful on this grant, then we plan to use that crumb rubber over at Walnut Street Park.
Council members also moved to postpone taking action in pursuing a Safe Routes to School grant application since that program has been suspended. Well, now here's Hopkinsville Christian County Crime Stoppers Coordinator Paul Ray. It's our featured Fugitives of the Week.
This week, probation and parole need your help locating 2 wanted fugitives.
Police are looking for 48-year-old Glenn Nicholas Pettis, who's wanted for probation violation. Pettis is a black male who stands 6 feet tall and weighs 220 pounds. His last known address was the 1700 block of East 1st Street. Police are also looking for 40-year-old Stephen William Oakes, who's wanted for probation violation. Oakes is a white male who stands 5 feet, 7 inches tall and weighs 120 pounds. His last known address was the 100 block of Holly Street.
If you know where police can locate these wanted fugitives, and we've got cash waiting for you. Pick up your phone now and call our tips line at 887-TIPS. If your information leads to an arrest, Crime Stoppers will pay you a cash reward. And remember, we will never ask your name, and you will not have to appear in court. Well, this week's Fugitive of the Week, I'm Officer Paul Ray for Crime Stoppers.
And here's how you can not even worry about the snow tomorrow. Tonight's Powerball jackpot, $96 million. I bet you forget all about it. And Friday's Mega Millions jackpot is $51 million.